Welcome to the 700 Club. Will the United States be competitive with China in 15 or 20 years? Well, experts say we don't even have a fighting chance for it when it comes to cyber warfare and artificial intelligence. That alarm was raised by the Pentagon's former chief software officer.
China is now leading the race for world domination through AI. So what can America do about it? Dale Hurd has the details on what could possibly be the most powerful weapon since the atomic bomb.
The Pentagon knew it had a problem when Nick Chalan, its first ever chief software officer, quit, saying the United States has no competing fighting chance against China in 15 to 20 years when it comes to cyber warfare and artificial intelligence. That set off alarm bells in Washington. Artificial intelligence, or AI, in weapons development has been called the third revolution of warfare after the invention of gunpowder and the nuclear bomb. It's been said that whoever leads in artificial intelligence in 2030 will rule the world until 2100. And it's a race that some say America is losing. Among them is Daniel Castro, AI expert and director of the Center for Data Innovation.
If you take the current trajectories that we're on, China's going to win. Without a doubt, China's going to win. The difference is China's made a concerted effort to win this race, and the United States has not yet done that.
Technologist and China expert Pascal Coppens agrees.
China is doing three things fantastically well. One is they built a huge infrastructure to make these disruptions and make these innovations come to life. The other thing is that users are adopting this AI technology like nowhere else in the world. And then the third thing is really about the competition between companies to actually outcompete each other to be the best AI company in China.
China is also winning because its government has few, if any, moral or ethical concerns about creating an AI-dominated world.
In China, they're looking at this as this huge opportunity. It's a ticket to a better future. In the West, we're looking at this and saying, maybe we should slow down.
At stake is not just who has the best weapons. The AI revolution will transform almost every aspect of our lives, from business to travel to healthcare, as computers begin to problem solve on their own. But it's likely to erode your privacy even further, with more data collection and surveillance. The United States still has what it takes to beat China in the AI race. It still leads in talent, research, development, and hardware. But the U.S. has to decide soon that it wants to win, and then do what it takes to win. Dale Hurd, CBN News.
Well, I'm not sure this is something we want to win. Every tech executive in the U.S. is worried about what happens when AI achieves what they call singularity. And whether you want to call that consciousness, because technically it's not consciousness. It's just the ability through brute force to figure out all kinds of outcomes from particular data sets. What does that mean in terms of tracking? What does it mean in terms of personal privacy? What does it mean that the AI is able to create some kind of illusion of intelligence as opposed to reality? All of these things are coming upon us. It's like we're living in some science fiction movie. We've all seen the disaster that can happen when AI takes over. What's the good side of that? Well, I'm not sure at this point. But China is pushing headlong into it. And what does that mean for the world? What does it mean for the world economy? But more importantly, what does it mean for privacy for you and me? And what does it mean for our ability to function independently and have freedom of conscience and freedom of thought, open to a wide variety of influences and opinions? When you get into a controlled society, which China is, where they're trying to have thought control, AI gets very scary. In other news, more pushback against the president's vaccine mandate for private businesses. Now the Senate has voted to repeal it. John Jessup has that story from our CBN News Bureau in Washington. John?
Thanks, Gordon. The vote was bipartisan, though it was just two Democrats who joined Republicans who have heavily criticized the mandate, some calling it, quote, massive government overreach. And a judge has blocked a vaccine mandate in New York City as well. CBN's George Thomas tells us about that and the Senate vote to repeal the president's order.
All 50 Republicans in the Senate, along with 2 Democrats who crossed party lines, Joe Manchin of West Virginia and John Tester of Montana, rejected the president's vaccine or test mandate for private businesses.
We've sent a very clear bipartisan message on behalf of the people that this mandate needs to be stopped.
So under the president's order, all private businesses with more than 100 employees were to have their workers either fully vaccinated or undergo weekly testing by January 4th. Indiana Republican Senator Mike Braun led the effort to repeal the rule, arguing that the risks of spreading the virus in the workplace are minimal.
And then you have a brainstorm like this. You either get the vaccine or you get tested or you lose your job if you choose to do neither of the two. That is the heavy hand of government. That is overreach.
Efforts to overturn the mandate are likely futile. The democratically controlled House doesn't plan to join the Senate in taking up the effort to repeal the mandate. And even if it did, the president says he'll use his veto power to keep it in place.
Some of the anti-vaxxers here in this chamber reminds me of what happened 400 years ago when people were clinging to the fact that the sun revolved around the earth.
Still, the idea of mandating a vaccine continues to get pushback from all quarters. More than a month after New York's mayor, Bill de Blasio, announced that city employees in the Big Apple must have their workers fully vaxxed, a Manhattan judge on Tuesday suspended the mandate and will hear arguments next week on whether to block the order. Critics have also been attacking the mayor's new mandate for private businesses that he announced Monday.
New York now is really rushing this mandate like everybody now, and I just don't think that's right.
As for President Biden's federal mandate, it's already faced several setbacks in the courts and is expected to ultimately be decided by the Supreme Court. George Thomas, CBN News.
All right, thank you, George. The state of California plans to be an abortion sanctuary if the Supreme Court overturns Roe v. Wade, the decision that legalized abortion here in the United States. California abortion clinics and their allies in the state legislature revealed their plan Wednesday, which may include paying for travel, lodging, and procedures for people from other states. Some of California's most powerful lawmakers helped write the plan's recommendations that the state will consider if the Supreme Court does overturn Roe v. Wade. The Supreme Court appears ready to rule that religious schools cannot be kept out of a program in the state of Maine that offers financial aid for tuition payments for students to go to private schools. But faith-based schools don't qualify for the program. Lawyers for parents in the case say that policy is discriminatory and unfair. As an attorney from a religious freedom legal group explained to CBN News, the Supreme Court has been sympathetic to that argument.
The Supreme Court has said twice in the last 5 years that government can't discriminate against religion in public programs just because it's religious. And Maine has not gotten the message. And that's why we're back. This is a chance for the court to explain in a way that school districts, local governments, bureaucrats are going to understand that you can't exclude religion from a program when you offer it neutrally to across the board.
Thompson believes the court will likely rule in favor of the families asking for equal treatment. Well, if it feels like Christmas observances have come early again this year, you're not alone. You may have even noticed some of your neighbors putting up their Christmas trees and lights well before Thanksgiving. Apparently, early Christmas is a thing, and as Wendy Griffith reports, it may be just what we need.
It's the holiday season everywhere. Let's face it, the last couple years have been tough. From COVID-19 to no high school graduations or proms to plain old cabin fever. It's no wonder many can't wait to usher in the Yuletide joy a little sooner this year. For hairdresser Alexis Bailey, that meant putting up her decorations and not one, but 4 trees 2 weeks earlier than normal.
This is the one that I added last year. To me, Christmas is the best time of year. And so I'm like, let's just go ahead and bring it in. You know, let's decorate, let's get things moving, let's get the holiday spirit going. And so for me, that's why I just wanted to do it early, because I just felt like we needed that joy.
Here at Granny's Christmas tree lot in Virginia Beach, the phone started ringing before Halloween. People wondering when they could come out and get their Christmas trees. Operator Scott Cust says business is way up from this time last year.
Last year we opened up on the weekend before Thanksgiving also, and we might have sold, I think, 22 trees, and we sold 73 trees on Saturday.
This is definitely the earliest we've ever done it before.
David and Ashley Lyons already have one tree up at home, but this year wanted to get a second tree for their 2 children to decorate.
The one thing that COVID's kind of made you aware of is just the importance of family and just how fragile life is.
I just thought, you know, a great way just for our own family to kind of develop some kind of Christmas cheer and just some excitement and just the coziness of all the decorations.
Then I just put the wire underneath the ribbon.
Bailey says whether it's making special bows to adorn the many gifts for her grandchildren or spending time with her family, the joy of Christmas is really all about the gift of Jesus.
He is the reason for the season. I mean, that sounds cliche and people say that, but for me, that's for real. It's because I have the joy of the Lord that makes me want to decorate.
And for those ready to tie a big bow on 2021, Christmas can't come soon enough. Wendy Griffith, CBN News, Virginia Beach.
Wendy Griffith putting everyone in the Christmas spirit. Gordon, I'm pretty sure you probably had your Christmas tree up weeks ago.
You would be wrong about that, but anyway, the Christmas tree is up, and the Christmas cards I left this morning, and they were all being assembled for the mail.
Say, well done, Catherine.
Yeah, I got to go to work now. Bye. How about you? When did the tree go up?
We usually try to put ours up right after Thanksgiving. You know, so that for one thing, as you can see in the story we just saw with Alexis Bailey, it's a lot of work to do all of that. We want to enjoy it as much as we can. And so ours is up, the house is decorated, the lights are on. And
that would be my point. It's a lot of work. And then when you've done all that work, you know you're going to do it again. And then you have to store it.
That is correct. That is correct, yes.
I won't be Scrooge. I do know people that literally, you know, July is not early enough. I mean, let's have Christmas all through the year.
Yeah, I see that before the end of October and Halloween there are now, I would prefer to celebrate Thanksgiving at least a little bit, and then...
You're such a traditionalist.
I am a traditionalist. I truly am. I'm okay with that. Okay.